Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Uh, as you can see, we have the living legend here, Troy Power. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Really good, really good. How was the drive?
It was good. Yeah. I love driving, so it really
Really
doesn't bother
driving.
me. Yeah. It was raining, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
annoying, but it wasn't too much water on the roads or anything, so it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here, man. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Yeah.
It's like we probably cross.
I'm not even sure if we have. I know that you played sauna like a couple
Yeah.
weekends ago
Yeah,
with
yeah,
my
yeah.
partner Veronica.
Yeah.
So she would have met you, but honestly, I
You
think this
were,
is the first time.
I think you were on the road, right? Like you
Yeah.
were playing at where
I was
were
in
you?
Fredericton playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a busy bee, eh? Like always playing somewhere.
I mean, I try to be not all times a year, but especially this year since it was like a special year for us.
Yeah.
I was like, let's book a bunch of sets. Let's just
Yeah.
be busy. And now we're kind of coming to the end of it. Like we did a show last weekend, and now there's one tonight. Now I've got another one next weekend, and then a couple weeks later we've got another one. But then there's kind of a break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to have a break and kind of like just rest a little bit. But okay,
Totally.
let's just get started. So,
Sure.
who's Troy Power?
Who am I? Ooh, I don't know. I guess I'm like the ringleader, the plug for dance music in Halifax. Not the only plug, but I've been around for a while, just
Yeah.
doing my thing, trying to help grow the scene, trying to help grow the culture, and help others too do their thing as well.
Are you original from Halifax?
No, so I moved here I moved to Nova Scotia from Newfoundland
Okay.
in 2010. So I was 19, just a young lad. I had no real prospects. I had been accepted to school at NSCC,
Yeah.
but I had to move to Nova Scotia and get like I had to be a resident in Nova Scotia to
Yeah.
like get accepted to the program that
Yeah,
I wanted to be a part of. So I moved here. Had no friends, didn't really know what was going
Yeah.
on. I'm from a little town of like 12,000 people, and
Yeah.
I was like, see you, Mom, I got to go do something more than this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it.
It's crazy, right? Like coming from another place and not knowing anyone, and then just developing kind of like I don't know the social skill of like. I'm just-
Yeah. So did you move here too? Like,
Yeah. So like same as you, like, but like I finished high school. I was 17, and then it was just my mom was like, okay, like,
go do something.
yeah, the
Yeah.
plan was always to go somewhere to study, but my mom was like, okay, like, pick where you wanna go, like,
Yeah.
like we'll help you, right? So like I was like, okay,
Sweet.
Canada, because like we've been here like a lot of times when I was a kid, and my parents loved it,
Right.
like coming here. So Canada, Toronto was the move. I remember the last day of me living in Mexico. I was a young kid. Like I was just
Right.
more focused in partying than anything else.
Yeah.
So the last day I was leaving, putting everything together, like getting ready to get to the airport, and my mom was like, "Okay, where are you gonna stay?"
Right.
And I was like, "Fuck." I totally, because she told me like find a place, like we'll pay
Yeah.
for it. Don't worry. In my head, like that just came to here, went to the other side, never booked a place.
Right.
So I was like, "Fuck."
That's like me. I didn't have anywhere to live. I just drove out here, and honestly, I slept in my car
Yeah.
in like a cemetery for like a week trying to get an apartment here in Halifax.
Yeah. So at the end, like I took the plane. Whenever I arrived to Toronto, my mom was send me a message, "Hey, like I booked you a hotel for like a week.
Yeah.
You need to find a place to stay." And then that's what I did, right? We're like, yeah, like and since then, like my shape changed, and I've been more into like actually, you have to learn, like.
Oh
because if
yeah,
not, you just-
yeah. And you came from a different country, so maybe even a more like learning curve or
Yeah.
culture shock
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Like and especially like. You said Toronto, is that right?
Yeah,
yeah. So
Toronto
you're in
was the
Toronto
first
for a
place,
bit,
yeah.
And when you come out to the East Coast, it's like it is culture shock again
Oh,
because you don't expect like people to be so kind. It's just a different world out here.
You don't
like-
even know what to expect, because I moved here
Yeah.
in 2018 or 19, and I remember I searched PI. Google, if you Google PI,
Yeah. So
like,
why here? Like, what brought you here?
A
It's like-
school,
Okay.
cheaper tuition,
Right.
quicker to get the PR and stuff like that, right? So
Cool.
like my immigration agent was like, yeah, if you move there, like my parents were paying for my education at the time, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like they were like, yeah, if it's cheaper and it's easier, like just
Right.
go there. So that's how I ended up here. But like if you Google PI, like the only thing that you can see is a potato field and a lot of fields, right? So like
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know where am I going, but like we'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it here now.
I bet. I
It's
bet. Yeah, I love PEI. I mean, it's a little like it's a little desolate in the winter. It can be a little
Yeah,
tougher,
yeah.
I imagine. But in the summer, there's so many tourists. There's so many things to do.
the beach and everything. It's
Yeah,
really
places to
nice.
go. I love it here
Yeah.
in the summer. It's beautiful.
When was the last time you were here? Like the last time you play, or you guys came?
We were
After
here in the fall. If you know Cloverdale, obviously.
Yeah.
His dad has a cottage out here.
Okay.
So just a couple of us, like Veronica and his partner and Veronica's sister, we just made a little trip and stayed at the cottage and went around to some of the little tiny towns and checked out some stuff. He took us to some like beaches and areas that I had never been, like
Nice.
kind of, I guess, further like northeast or whatever on the points out there. And so we just did some exploring. We weren't out here for like music or anything, so it was nice.
It was just kind of
like a relaxing
An actual
weekend.
just PI Islander trip.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So just going back a little
Sure.
bit. So you moved here. You moved to Halifax from Newfoundland. How did your approach to the electronic scene? How did that started?
So I've always been into dance music.
Yeah.
And even in grade 9 and 10, I would DJ our school dance, and I would in high school I would go to like the intermediate school and DJ their dances. It wasn't actually like DJing. I was just like I would play something off virtual DJ, but just have like 2 tracks so I know where I was going next.
Yeah.
But like I've been downloading music and playlisting music and all that stuff forever, really.
Yeah.
And I'd always wanted to be like a part of the music industry or just be able to give something to music or have some kind of hobby where I could express myself. I love performing. I love being on stage. I love being that like center of attention, I guess, from time to time.
Yeah, it's very.
So I was drawn to that, but I didn't really have any skills. Like I didn't know how to DJ. And so when I was at NSCC, I was learning television production. That's what I went to school for. That's the trade that I did. And so during that time, I spent a lot of time just at school in the studio with the studio monitors, trying to learn on this little controller. And my teacher would come in and he'd be like, "Are you sure you don't want to do like radio or something? You seem to be really into this like music and DJing stuff." And I was like, "I can do both. I can do both. I can figure it out." And that's where I like first started getting the skills to like actually mix music. But I hadn't performed like live or anything like that, and I was just going to shows here, like meeting people. Went to shows, met some people, and then I was like, seeing some sets, and I thought, hey, like I could definitely keep up with that. I think I'm finally at the level. I know I've got the music. I know I've got the energy, and I'm sure that once I get up there, I'll have the stage presence because of my personality and energy and all that. So I gave it a try. I think I hit up. I was friends with Kyle McCracken. Shout out to Kyle, obviously the godfather of, I don't know, Kyle touches everybody and helps them do everything. He's such a huge part of the electronic music industry.
It's always nice to have someone like that can guide you.
Yeah, he was a couple steps ahead. He had already been promoting shows. He'd already had some information. He knew some things, and so he gave me my first few gigs. And I didn't throw my own shows for a few years. It was a while. I was playing, probably a couple years before I ended up being like, hey, like I feel like there's a need for house music. There was a lot of like dubstep and other genres, and I just wanted to step in and try to do something with the 4 to the floor and kind of make that more prominent again in the city. That's when I kind of just like gave it a try,
And then from there, like the walls are rolling and you haven't stopped, eh?
Yeah, I don't think we've never stopped. There's never been a break. Even since starting, there's probably been, I do a show every 4 to 6 weeks, whether I'm DJing or it's a lighthouse show, and it's been like that for like 10 years. Which is
like
insane.
I was just gonna touch there, like 10 years of the lighthouse, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
I know, it's crazy. I can't believe, because like when I think about moving here and just being such a child and had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And literally, like I hadn't gone to school for anything really, so I had like no skills, and was just such a
But you have the street smart chip, kind of like whenever you're like, okay, like what should I? You start like, okay, I can do this and this and this and this, and then you ended up doing a project that it's well known, the whole in
Definitely.
Canada, East Coast, Or,
Yeah, definitely. I definitely got that hustle. I think I get that from my parents. My parents were hustlers. They were, business owners, always had to work very hard for their money and figure out things for themselves. And so I think when I came out here, it was kind of like, well, if you want something to happen, you've got to do it yourself. So
yeah, exactly. So how did the Lighthouse started? How do you came with that?
So definitely just wanted to like throw some shows. Just wanted to DJ more, wanted to book my friends, wanted there to be more like dance music events around. So the first one was at like the new Reflections. So yeah, if you remember in Halifax, you probably don't because you weren't around. But there was a popular club called Reflections, and then they moved. So our first couple shows were in there, and I'm not even really sure why I moved out of there. So I think there was just like some weird politics going on with the club, and like people weren't really going there anymore.
Yeah.
And so, we moved it to Gus's Pub, which is like a 100-person venue, which is perfect. Like, if you're starting something out, you don't want to have a room that's too big.
Yeah.
You want to keep everything really tiny and keep your budget small. And I think that's honestly why we were able to have such success is because I was able to take it one step at a time, slowly grow it. And as things were progressing, that's when we started taking a little bit more risk, a bigger venue, maybe a smaller, a headliner from like Toronto or like Montreal, who's kind of our buddy. Yeah. So it's not really that expensive, but has a little bit more of a draw, that sort of thing. It was really just like a very linear experience where it was just like, what's next? Let's get a little bit better. And
time flies like that, right? Like,
boy, yeah, you're telling me. And like, I don't like to say that time flew because honestly, when I think back, I have like just so many memories and so many things to cherish that it's not like, I don't know. I think about it a lot. And when I think back, I'm like, yeah, that really is like 10 years worth of stuff. Right?
Yeah. So, no, it's a lot, and it's a lot in the memory, but like at the same time, it's like, okay, because I think you're always planning ahead, right? So like you did the show, and then you're already in the next, and then the next, or like maybe you have already someone booked big from like another country, so like you are already thinking 3 weeks ahead. So it's
you are so right in that regard. I'm definitely always sometimes I'm living in a month like 3 or 4 months ahead because I'm thinking about this next event, and I know, I try to create almost a year worth of programming before the year even begins. So I know like what's going to happen a year in advance. Yeah. And when you're constantly thinking about the fact that there's this next thing and then there's this next thing, or you're done one event and then now you're promoting another event that's 4 or 6 weeks away, and you're kind of like, oh, I can't wait till like we're done with that one kind of thing. I can relax or whatever. It does really make time fly. Like even this year we did New Year's Eve, and then we did a couple weeks later, we did this free igloo show like outside in this big inflatable igloo. And then the next day I was in Fredericton, and then like a couple weeks later, we did Flava D. Now I'm here, and that was a week ago. And then next week we have a show. So it's just been like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and when you look back, it's like okay, it's March, and we started in January, right? So.
Yeah. So like in April's going to be our last like headliner show for a couple months, like specifically for Lighthouse, because once the students leave and it starts to warm up, people don't tend to want to be like in a club. They want to be outside doing other things. Maybe they're going to festivals, but they're not like going to club shows. So from basically May until September, there's not really like any regular Lighthouse events, but we're trying to come up with something. Well, it's in the works, something special for summer, maybe something outside, or maybe I'll do a boat party. We'll see.
That's good.
We'll see,
like because you guys always throw like a boat party like every year or like.
Yeah, so last year we didn't do a boat party, and I think that's just because we had done it like 4 years in a row, and some years we did multiple boat parties. So it was like we kind of tapped that, and we've done it, and the boats are like it's super expensive
Yeah,
to
yeah,
rent.
yeah.
Like the tall ship Silva for just 2 hours is a ridiculous
Yeah,
amount of
I
money
can
for that.
imagine.
And so yeah, a lot of work goes into it. So it's just kind of like, summer maybe like my partner deserves a little bit more time with
Time, yeah.
me, and like that's what I want,
Yeah.
and like I don't want to have to be like thinking about, oh, there's an event, and then you do an event and you're so tired after that you need a couple days to like
Yeah.
get your head together, and on top of all that, like I work a full-time job too.
Yeah.
So
It's hard to balance the music, the job, the girlfriend. It's
Yeah,
the
it's really-
social. We're lucky that our social it's kind of work too, but
Yes.
at the same time.
Yeah, but like, and also, you don't always want to see your friends like at the club, and that's it,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
so loud. Like,
Yeah, you
I don't
cannot-
I don't always have the brain capacity to listen to
Yeah.
a conversation when there's like 6 PK bass bins just rattling in front of my
Yeah,
face.
100. Like this guy, shout out Dexter.
Yeah.
He, like Dexter can tell you his full life story, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I have a lot of friends similar where
Well, you'll get a lot of updates tonight.
yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, but that's it. We're lucky for sure, like you said, that a lot of our friends we have this like hub or this little niche that we all get to meet in and congregate and talk and hang out and just like relieve stress and blow off steam every week or every couple weeks and whatever. But of course, there is that fine line, especially as you start to get a little older. I'm not in my 20s anymore, so maybe partying isn't like the absolute priority, right? There's other things that are important. So yeah, you definitely start thinking about, well, what do I want to do with my time? Because it's really easy to just like book a million shows, but also you don't want to play too much in one place. I don't want to be in Halifax every weekend, because then people wouldn't pay to come see me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like exactly. It's hard, but like if you love doing it, it's kind of like it's the itch, of like doing something. I don't know. That's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
But going back to the lighthouse, going to the evolution of that of your project. Whenever you started, I'm aware that it was more focused on house music.
Definitely house, tech house, maybe even like, honestly, I even used to like mix in like trap and rap. I think the city like took on to that a little bit more, and I think like rap in general was in a better place in like 2016. There was so many more like actual good singles and remixes. So I would play everything, but I would say in the beginning there was definitely like no dubstep. Or like some of these left field kind of things that are like popular now. We would still be like stick with trends, like I said, like rap or trap or something. It's just because it was so popular at the time that it was still getting mixed in there. But primarily when we started out, it was meant like, it's called lighthouse, and it was never like the house music wasn't light. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the branding there, it's just because we're on the East Coast. It's
and it's a
nautical.
lighthouse.
And it's a place you can go, right? Like come to Lighthouse, and it has house in the name as well. So it worked on many levels, and that's kind of why I went with it. But yeah, primarily we were doing just 4 to the floor, like 125 to like 130-ish tempo kind of stuff. But over the years, it's definitely progressed, and now I think we're in a really great place because so many genres are like actually popular. They're popping off so good. There's so much great D&B. There's so much good hard groove and break beats and even dubstep, like 140 dubstep, and everything's good. So now it's kind of like Lighthouse has become just like whatever is good in dance music, whatever's the best, whatever we think is going to get the crowd going the most, play that. Like I'm so open to that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, because like sometimes it's hard if you try to stick to one sound. Like I don't know, like especially you guys that have like live in the city and you guys have like so many different people from all around the world. It's just I think better to be just like okay, like if you think this is gonna work, just go ahead and
totally. Yeah.
And how does your sorry.
No, take your time, man.
The word
of course. Yeah.
Left. How Detroit Power has not changed, but well, you notice that your tasting music has changed or evolved since you started, or it's kind of the same, but like you just play around with the genres?
I think in a sense it's like exactly the same.
Okay.
Like in one way, it's always the same like level of energy.
Yeah.
But the sound, the music structure, the tempo might vary.
Yeah.
But I think like people will even say like, well, my friends and stuff, they'll hear a track and they're like, dude, that's a Troy Power track for sure. Like they're like, I'm not even going to download that because I know that you're going to be playing it all summer long, like that sort of thing. So although like the genres have definitely changed, and I've grown and come to learn how to genre hop better as a DJ. So that comes along with it too. Obviously, like when you're first starting out, you're kind of within the limit of your skill, so you're not really willing to jump out of just boom, 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 you know, when you first start. But then you start just trying new things at home, and the more you practice, the more you play, the more tricks you pick up, the better you get. So it's really just not so hard to jump from something that's in like 130 and get yourself to D&B and then get yourself to 140 or, you know, whatever you want to do.
And as you said, there's so much like good music that it's hard to just stick to one genre, you know, like there's so many good music all around genres, so it's good.
Like I when I pick up like headliners and stuff now from the airport, we always all have the same conversation lately that you know, maybe 10 years ago we would play an hour of one style, like one genre, and really not leave that. And I can't even believe that we did that at this point, because I very rarely will I play, I'll play like 20, 30 minutes of this, and then I'll play 20, 30 minutes of that, or I'm going all over the place. But I just find that where dance music is now, people are more open, and I don't know, maybe it has to do with like technology and people's attention spans or something. Maybe a little bit. Like I'm not sure if that's fully it, but I think it has a percentage of that for sure. I'm always trying to just like re-engage the dance floor and keep people's attention. So you're just flip flopping and doing different things.
And that's 100% like one thing that make people stay, like watch your set or hear your set, is if they don't know what's gonna come next. I think there's more engagement, right? Because if it, as you said, if it's 1 hour of just like the same kind of like, I don't know, like bongos and blah blah, it gets kind of repetitive, kind of boring. So
it's easy to like drift out of it, I guess. Right? If all of a sudden it's like boom bam and then it changes to something else, like people, you got to keep them turning their heads, you know.
So for you, like how do you gather a set, or like how you create a set?
I would say, well, I'm constantly, like I listen to music like all day, every day kind of thing. I love to watch mixes on YouTube, and like I work from home, so I have like 8 hours a day. Basically, I can
listen to music.
I can listen to music. So I definitely am still constantly digging. And so I'll generally, like at this point, I'm usually on like Spotify or YouTube or SoundCloud, and as I'm listening, I'm either Shazamming or I'm looking at comments or I'm trying to ID these tracks, and so I'll have like a list on my phone of things that I can't ID, and I'm constantly going back to them and going back to the mix to try to find those IDs and those release dates, so I'm always on top of like when things are coming out, when I'm going to find stuff, but then I just download things and put it on my computer, and I used to like organize my genres and my playlists a little bit better. I feel like I've fallen off that a little bit. But when I create a set for a show, I'll usually like go through a bunch of my music, go through some of my latest sets. Sometimes I'll look at old music, depending on what it is. I like to have a little percentage of everything, lots of fresh stuff, maybe something that I played like 10 years ago or whatever. So it's kind of constantly rotating around these different ideas and different sounds. But I kind of toss everything into a playlist, and then I actually just sit in Rekordbox on my computer and like mix tunes just within Rekordbox, like just with the crossfader. Like I don't even like really use my controller that much when I'm making sets anymore. And so like usually I'll just like kind of make some pockets of like 2 or 3 songs that really sound great. Like, okay, I've definitely got to do this, and then this one goes perfect, and then this is like a sick mashup. Like I don't tend to know everything that I'm going to do when I'm on stage. Like tonight, I'm going to wing it, like hands down. But I know that in my playlist, I have all these little pockets. So I'm just going to like listen to whatever you guys play, see what the crowd's like really into.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to, you know, have some fresh stuff that I'm going to come out of the gate with and then just feel it out. So yeah, like I'll put stuff in a playlist and then I'll just kind of make these little pockets and then pockets of pockets and areas where I'm like, okay, this is easy for me to get from like this genre to this genre. And then like a lot of just like knowing your music is so important. So you can look at your USB and be like, oh, this is this. And even sometimes live, I'll just kind of, it just sparks ideas, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same way. Like I would just make a playlist like that, just throw music that, okay, this can work, this time, bam, bam, bam. And then I usually like to pick like 3 songs that I would like to start or 3 songs that I would like to finish, and then that way, like I don't know what's gonna happen in the middle, but like I know, like
totally. I would agree. Fun, like right? I would say I'm very similar to that. Like I definitely want to know. Like my opening track. I love to have a good idea of like this is where the energy is going to start. This is where I'm going to go. As like when I jump on the stage, where it's going to go from there. Don't necessarily know. Sometimes I do. Sometimes for like a really big festival, I pretty have like a good idea of what I'm going to play. And mainly that's just because like I want to make sure I get through these like 40 tracks in 60 minutes. And it's like, how am I going to do that and end up at the end, like you're saying, where you know you want to play these like couple tunes at the end or whatever, right? So I love that though. Like, I love the creativity. I love the workflow of all that.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know, it's I don't know. I think it's way more fun whenever like you have your starting point and your end point, but
you don't know how you're gonna.
You need to figure your way there at the end, like in an hour, right? So like I think it's just.
Totally. Sometimes every now and then I'm, you know, obviously it happens to everybody. You're just kind of like, what should I do right now? Like I don't really have anything perfect, but let's just try this and then we'll get back on track somehow.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but like you just keep moving, right?
Yeah, so. Confidence is key, everybody. Like, you know, if you make a mistake or if it wasn't really the track you want to play, just keep on rolling with it because people in the crowd, like, you know, even though they might be paying attention or whatever, they don't know what's supposed to come next in your set or whatever. So.
They don't know what's going on. They just start moving, you know, like you're enjoying it. So it's, so that's how you create your set. But like, where you grab inspiration from? Like, I know you already said like listening to music and stuff, but like, which artists you look up to, like, or?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Lorenzo. Shout out to Chris Lorenzo. Chris is definitely my favorite dance music producer. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. Like now he has the duo Ante Up with him and Chris Lake. Chris and Chris. Those guys are insane. They're like the top tier of dance music. No matter what you think or say, those guys are the best. And listening to them, and like it's crazy. Their music is so well mastered that it's just like the cleanest music I've ever heard. But I think that's kind of like with the sound and style I have now. Chris was a huge influence, so I would listen to him and listen to his mixes, and I would grab artists from there, and then I would get into those artists. And I'm sorry, what was the original question again?
No, that's good. Like where do you grab inspiration from? And that's exactly like going to a rabbit hole of like just artists, labels.
Yeah, like listening to people you love, and even listening to like the way they mix actually is like super inspiring to me. Being like, oh, that's maybe instead of with those 2 tracks, I could try this kind of same idea, but with these other tracks, right? Listening to my favorite artists and trying to impress my friends really it makes me want to like find new fresh things and always be always sound fresh, always coming up with new ideas, right?
No, that's amazing because like you always want to kind of like have that track that is like something. It doesn't need to be like really new, but like it's like I don't know, like I like having those tracks where like people are like, oh, what the fuck is this? You know, like,
well, I get a lot of inspiration too just from my friends. Like people know what I listen to and always have, even since like way before DJing. It was, you know, music is such a like. Music and friends, like I think there's an old like I'm from Newfoundland, so there's like an old Oh my God, I'm losing the words right now. But a jig, they call them jigs and reels, right? And there's this one song. It's called "Music and Friends," and I can just hear like the violin and "Music and Friends" like right now. Yeah.
Well, that's what it is, right?
Totally.
About the music is just good music, good friends. What else you need?
Yeah, exactly, and that's definitely at the core of like why I even do what I do now. I'm like music, friends, okay, good times. Let's try this. Let's do it. Yeah.
And you got involved into so you're part of Vibrancy too? Yeah.
Yeah. So Vibrancy. So that's like Alex again, Cloverdale.
Yeah.
That's his record label, and what are we in? Year 5 this is going to be. So it was kind of a culmination of like COVID ending and the city trying to reinvigorate the music scene and tourism. And so we were able to get some funding from the city. So we work closely with the event coordinator for the city of Halifax, Billy Comer, and he has like a team of people as well that work with him. So it's like Alex and Erica and Billy and Jules and myself and Veronica and like Sam Island. We're kind of like the core, and Todd Mercer, obviously I can't forget Todd. We're kind of like the core of creatively, trying to figure, getting everything locked down for the year. Like right now, we're just in the process of getting headliners, which is a huge ordeal, something that's super stressful all the time.
I was just constantly touch there. How's dealing with the managers and stuff to book headliners?
It can be good. Like now I've gotten it down. I kind of know what to expect from an agent. Sometimes they can be a little bit like tough because sometimes it can take a really long time. Like I think we locked down Flava D in September. So like, and I wanted her for sure for the Lighthouse 10 years, so I had to get on it early. And sometimes like our agents will just be like, oh, we want to do this show, and like I'll have one date, but they'll be like, ooh, works a lot better on this date, so you're trying to get the venue to change, or you're trying to convince them that this is like the date that they should do it on, and that sort of thing. And it kind of depends. Like you either get lucky and the artist will be kind of already coming from the UK, because a lot of the artists that we book are like from the UK. So you want to hope that they're already coming to North America so they can line up a couple other shows to make it worth it for them. It's definitely one of the more challenging aspects of all of this is just emails and trying to deal with agents and make sure you're not spending more than you can afford, and just saying no to, like, I get a lot of agents that reach out to me, but it might sound like we do a lot of shows, but in reality we only do like 5 or 6 big headliner shows a year, and that includes like Vibrancy and Critical Mass for Halloween. So there's only so many headliners that I can book. So, agents will reach out and they'll be constant being like, hey, can you take this person for then, and then this person for this date? And I'm kind of just like, no, I can't, because I don't have the time for it. Although I want to, it's just like we can't have an event every weekend. The city's not big enough for that, right? So
I know it's hard, but like at least it's a city, not like here. Here we don't have the infrastructure to do that, but
no, totally.
We'll see. Now that you touched that about some like the managers reaching to you, you probably get a lot of new upcoming DJs, artists from the city and from the East Coast reaching to you, like, hey, like, can I get a show? Can I open for you? Blah blah. What do you look into someone if they ask you for that?
So I have a DJ master list of everyone who hits me up, and I try to keep it updated as much as possible. So I kind of know their like handle, and like I'll have their like a link to their mixes, and their I'll kind of know what genre they are. And so when I go to make a show and do some programming and everything, I'll kind of just think about who's going to fit this bill. But I talk to people all the time. And again, another one of the struggles is we don't throw like that many shows, so there's so many people that reach out. But I definitely I do my best to try to give as many opportunities
Yeah.
per year as I can. And I think you'll see that on our next event with Dana Vici because a lot of our regular like DJs, they don't play hard techno.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know when. Oh, this will come out after
Yeah,
I
yeah,
announce
yeah,
that show.
yeah,
I was like, what am I dropping?
I was just like,
I'm dropping
we just did
headliners.
it.
Yeah. No, it's okay. So yeah, you'll see. I think I've got these two guys. They're like uni kids, and they've been hitting me up for a while, and they want to play. So I think those guys will be perfect to close. I'm still trying to find someone to open for Dana. So yeah, I think on this next one you're going to see some like. Several first-time DJs for Lighthouse. Yeah, some premieres. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess it's hard whenever like to find someone that fits into the genre, right? Like and
like a lot of people play different genres in Halifax, and that's one thing that's sick about it as well. Is just nobody really steps on anyone's toes. We have. And not that they're not trying to. It's like we have so many different promoters and DJs, yet somehow, magically, we all have very unique sounds and styles, right? Like
everyone has their own sounds.
Yeah, like Sauna is nothing like Lighthouse, and then Labyrinth is nothing like Lighthouse, and Home Base is nothing like any of those, and we're all just very unique, right? So, which is great. But yeah, sometimes when you book, like there's lots of like UKG like DJs around, like I can find that pretty easily. But sometimes I want to do something a little more niche, something that speaks slightly to a different demographic. So at that point, it can be challenging to find the right opener. But that's it. Like that's the perfect time because if you're just like a DJ. Even if like hard techno isn't like really your main thing, you could take it as a challenge and just like, okay, I'm gonna do this and like make a little mix and send it to me, even if it's like 15 minutes and it's like a few tracks that are just like high energy. I'm like, okay, you're on, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I always try to help, as you said, like you like to help people get into. I don't know. I feel like because someone did it to you. It does like your friend. What was his name?
Kyle.
Where he was like your guide. I feel like you don't have the pressure, but you would like to give back to the community in a way. Like that, right?
I think like it's not like pressure, but I think that's just like something you have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this isn't a community where people have like in Toronto and bigger places, bigger demographics, it's so hard to like break out into those scenes because it's just so like there's so much money and there's so many people that have so much control over it. It's very like I don't know, maybe a little chin strokey or maybe slightly pretentious, or just like people that just are not as open to people who aren't already in their crew. You know what I mean? But in Halifax, the only way to survive is to just be like a nice person and to get to know new people and to give people opportunities. If you give people opportunities, you never know what kind of opportunities they're going to be able to provide you down the road. So I think it's important to like let new people into the community. Let them have a try, push them off the deep end, and see what happens. Yeah. I mean, I love like a new DJ who hasn't like played very much at all, and just being like, nope, you're playing Lighthouse now, and you're playing at like 11 p.m. and there's gonna be tons of people there, so
be ready. Prepare,
and like I get nervous when I DJ all the time. I still like I'll be like, oh my god, but then I love watching my friends just be nervous sometimes. I'm like, it's your turn. It's your turn tonight. Yeah,
it's hard. I find like the first minute or the first transition that you do is kind of like, okay, like what the fuck am I gonna do? Mm-hmm. Oh, now this is how you do it. And then it just goes, like I don't know, like sometimes it's like you gotta find the group. Once that you find it, it's just
totally, but and like sometimes I'll be just very confident and ready to go, like can't wait to step on stage. But then there's other times I'm like looking at the crowd, I'm like, okay, like 10 minutes, and I'm just kind of like just taking big breaths before I go on stage, right? But usually, like a drop or two in, you start to feel pretty good, and then the world is just everything feels so good at that point.
Yeah. So talking about the community, have you noticed a big change in your community from the year you started to this year? Actually, like from 10 years, a lot of the crowd that comes to your events. Do you notice a change or anything, or it's?
Yeah, people are so much better at throwing events now. Like everyone, I think when it was like there's a different rave scene in Halifax before me. Halifax is really well known in like the early 2000s as being just like an insane spot for raves and parties, and it's an era that I've heard about a lot but didn't get to experience myself. And I feel like we were coming out of that, and the reins were being passed over to a new young generation that was going to be downtown all the time throwing shows, but none of us knew how to do anything. You know, we didn't have the skills or the know-how. We just wanted to do it, and we wanted to DJ, and we wanted to party with our friends, and so that's kind of what we did. And shows were definitely, I don't think anybody noticed because the standard was like down here. But I think now we've...
Oh, you guys put it out here.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And that's what we want it to do. Like, we believe, I believe personally, I know a lot of my colleagues believe that, Halifax is like a world-class... It can be like, a contender in terms of world-class entertainment. I don't see any difference between what we can do and what can happen in Toronto or even Las Vegas if we put our minds to it.
You guys have an international airport, so you guys are...
Yeah, exactly. We at least have that. That is a big connection. It's good for us. Although it's so expensive to get to Halifax, it's like one of the hardest places to get to and from in terms of just like how much it costs, right? But yeah, I think a lot of people put their minds to it, and like not just the promoters, but it's like people who like Wasco, for example, who does lighting and creates environments. When he first started out, he had a few lights and like a projector, and he would do like cutouts of stuff, and then he would project on that, and it's just amazing to see how much he's taken on to it, and now he takes contracts for like massive conferences and stuff and huge festivals, and he has all this gear and all this know-how. Now he has his own employees. It's not just him anymore, right? So all of my friends who were just starting out, like I've seen Future Forest go from an absolute like just little party in the woods to this huge festival with all this infrastructure and all these like regulations for safety and all these things. It's very professional, and so I think in the last 10 years, what I've noticed the most is just people learning their craft and getting better at it, and setting a new bar for like new people coming in to be like, oh yeah, like this this exists, and this is what I should try try to achieve or strive for, right? And not right away. It's just like do your thing, but that's probably the coolest thing to see.
And it's good at the end of the day, as you said, like for example, like there's many collectives, but everyone is helping each other to get better, because one sets up the bar here, so like the other guys gotta catch up, and like it's just kind of like a constant I don't want to say competition because it's not, but like kind of helping upgrade each other's their skills and the quality of their events, right?
Like healthy competition.
Yeah.
A little bit like that. Yeah. Like I definitely don't feel in competition. I mean, maybe that's because this is very solidified and whatnot. I don't know how other people feel, but like I'm definitely always around, especially for promoters who need like any type of guidance or have any questions about what's the best move here, or like how does this budget work or whatever. Definitely always down to help with that. But yeah, for sure. Like it's just been nice to see us kind of decide this is what we want to see in our city and make it for ourselves. It's really cool. Yeah, it's cool to be a part of.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to, we talk about the community now. Let's talk about the crowd. Do you notice a big change in the new generation of the crowd that assists to your events, or just kind of?
No, thankfully not. When we started, obviously, it was 10 years ago, so I was 10 years younger. But then we, I would say, like our like age range was 19 to probably like 36, or something like that. And there would be outliers. You always see people in their 40s, 50s, sometimes 60s at Lighthouse, and you still see that. And thankfully, you still see like a ton of young people, a ton of students. I run into like a few different groups of, I'd say they're like 20, 21 or something like that. And they tend to come up to me and be like, thanks for having something like this in Halifax. Because what we do is really specific. It's different than anybody else. And so it's really good to see like students still coming out, young faces, new faces. That's really what you got to focus on if you're gonna keep surviving.
Yeah.
You have to try to. How do you reach these kids? You know,
Yeah.
you got to reach the kids for sure, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I've noticed a lot of whenever I go to parties like in Moncton or Halifax or whatever, like I notice the age of the people is 25 plus, you know?
Right.
It's really hard to get the new generation, but as you said, like I never had the chance to go to a lighthouse event.
Yeah.
But
I would say like the mean age is like 25.
Yeah.
You know, when you come to the city, I think as like a student and stuff,
yeah, exactly.
you're very like thrown into this like, let's go to the Dome, let's go to one of the like Celtic bars, Dirty Nellies and stuff like that. That's just like a part of university culture.
Yeah.
But anyone who's like looking for electronic music,
for the music.
yeah, they're gonna find us,
Yeah.
and maybe there's like less of them overall or whatever, but they know where to go.
They know,
and
yeah.
then when they do come and when they do introduce themselves to me, I'll go as far as like, oh, like thank you for coming. I'll hit them up later on Instagram, be like, thanks for coming through. Here's like guest list for you to the next show. Just please bring like all your friends. Tell all your friends you had a good time, and make sure they come out. Customer service is definitely a huge part of it.
100%,
Yeah.
Like you want them to keep coming and bring all their friends, right? So that's what matters. Going back a little bit to you.
Yeah.
You've been DJing for a while, promoter for a while. Have you ever tried to produce?
Yeah, like I have. You know, it's just like a time thing.
Yeah.
A time thing for sure. And so many people ask me this all the time. And like I have spent time in Ableton and like writing music. And then I've taken those ideas and I've gone to like some of my other friends who've helped me like flesh them out. And like I put out, that one remix of Janet Jackson, like All For You, like years ago. And that was so much fun. And like that was like all my idea. And like I did as much as I could, and then I go to Alex, and then I'm just like over his shoulder, like, no, I want this whistle here, and I want it to sound like this, and I want you to do this and do that, and like I'm a great.
You have the ear.
Yeah, I have the ear. Oh, I know what sounds good for sure, and a lot of my producer friends send me music, and they listen to what I have to say for sure, and I'll sit in studio with people too, and help them with their music, and try to give as much. As much of creative ideas as I can or input as I can. And I think, like we talked about, there's work. You got to make money. You're throwing shows. You're DJing. You're constantly trying to keep up with music. You have like friends and people you love that you want to be around. And although in the back of my mind, it's like I feel like heartbroken sometimes that I didn't take the time to do more with production.
You still have the time, I mean.
Yeah, of course. The time is still there. And I do think that now that we've like kind of proven ourselves as Lighthouse, we can even like step off the gas a little bit, and I could maybe not throw as many shows, but just make sure that we throw like 4 or 5 quality shows every year. So I am trying to find a way to give back to myself in the next couple of years to have more time. 100%, so maybe that is something that's like, don't count me out yet.
Yeah.
Don't count me out yet, gang.
No.
It could happen.
You have all like until you're going to learn, and then like it's a learning curve.
But it's daunting. Like,
it's trial and error.
You gotta think like my best friend right now is nominated for a Juno. And then one of my other best friends, Priska or Chasing Luma, he has a gold record. So it's really hard. Like I'm hanging out with these people that are like literally some of the most talented musicians in Canada, and sometimes just like seeing all the work and everything that they've put into it, it deters you because you're like, how am I gonna reach that level? Like I'm never gonna get there. There's no.
But at least you have
way.
them to guide you.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do though, I'm just trying to get in the headspace where I'm doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I just want to start doing it regularly for fun, and I haven't gotten there, and I still do. Like I use Ableton to make mixes sometimes because it's like so easy to just like you don't have to sit there and record a mix, and if you make a mistake, you don't have to go back. You can just like design the mix like in on a linear timeline,
Yeah.
which is so sick. I love being able to do that. So I do have like skills in using Ableton. I know how to do a bunch of stuff in it. But yeah, it's just like it takes time. It takes time. Yeah. Hopefully I'll get to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
you bring up one of my my biggest downfalls.
Nah,
for sure.
nah, man. Like, it's just
I'm
it's
not
just for
afraid to
you
talk about it.
to step on it and
I know.
make something.
Everybody's
happen,
looking
eh?
at me like, dude, make a move, like make a track, you know.
Well, you have a remix out, so it's good, and it has a
Yeah.
lot of plays, right?
It
Like,
does.
yeah,
It
so-
does. It does. Yeah, it did really well, and like that was sick, and I loved like being able to put a track out. Oh, are we getting a knock on the door? Hold on now. Hold up, gang.
Letting you know that we're closing.
They're closing soon.
Oh, they're closing
We gotta
soon.
grab it.
Man, the time went so fast.
I know. Just something.
Was that an
cool.
hour?
You can finish up.
Yeah.
We can take a few
finish
more
this.
minutes. I'm having fun.
Yeah. Just let's wrap it up. So,
Mm-hmm.
I want like, what advice will you give the promoters these days? How, like, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take
just-
it easy. Take it easy. Take it slow. Definitely don't jump into something with like a big budget to where like if it doesn't work out, you're going to be in trouble. Never do that to yourself. Please don't do that to yourself. And also be careful because like, you know, if you book an artist and you have no idea what to do with a headliner,
Yeah.
you could do something wrong and then they're never going to want to get booked by you again. Not only that, they might not ever want to come back to the city, right? So you got to know that you can handle what you're going about. And so like start really simple. Your main goal is to like create a vibe, create an energy, create a space
An
that people
environment.
want to be in, that's inviting, that's safe, that you know, and like that's, you know, affordable and just like appealing to people for sure. But yeah, keep it simple. Like keep it simple with the venue, keep it simple with the lighting and the sound and all that stuff. You don't gotta although like having CDJs and having PK, there's a clear difference when you start using that equipment. It's just like so not necessary to do right off the bat. Your main thing is like if you yourself, you're going to throw a show, try to be like the catalyst of the energy in the room, you know, create the vibe that you want your show to be. So that's why you'll see me like on stage a lot at my shows, just like, you know, scream at the crowd, getting people engaged. But then you also see me front row center at every one of my shows, watching the headliners play, watching my friends play, being a part of the event as well. But yeah, I think if you feel like it, go for it for sure. Definitely don't let anything hold you back. But also, like, if you're worried about anything, if you're not really sure if what move's the right move, you can always reach out to someone like myself or Kyle McCracken. We are definitely happy to hop on a call or, you know, just send some messages and give you some guidance.
Amazing, yeah.
Happy to do that anytime.
You heard that, eh?
Yeah, I heard her. Yeah, sounds like we got to wrap it up.
Well, thank you so much, bro.
This was wonderful,
Bro.
though. Yeah, thank
Really
you so
nice
much
to
for
meet
having
you.
me. Yeah.
And
Man, we should
I'm
do this
excited for
again.
tonight. I'm excited for tonight. You
Yeah,
know?
me too. Yeah, the three of us and Veronica. We got Voyager. We got Javier, myself. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I haven't played Babas in a while, so
4 years.
It's been 4 years. Yeah, since the start, since like the end of COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's gonna be sick. I'm sure it's gonna be dope.
Anyway, see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks, bro.
you. See ya.